We've only gone and done it. We've got plant. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video on Dougley, our beat up old digger. Yeah, so we've got quite a few things we need to do, little things. I mean, it runs, it drives, does whatever it needs to do, but there's some things we want to do. I've started doing a list on the old whiteboard, but you know, looking at it initially, you know, without taking anything apart, I need to do something with the pins and bushes here. You can see the angle of those. These are the wrong pins, they're too long, and the actual bucket, this bucket is too wide on these stays. So you know, the other two buckets I got with it are fine, but this is a very useful bucket, so I think we might be spacing this about with other pins. And I want to try and get a bush kit for in here. There's weight on it at the moment, but there's quite slack there. Everything else seems reasonable for an old machine. We've got a bit of slack, as you'd expect. But yeah, I've plugged that because I was worried I was going to squirt oil everywhere. Speaking of oil, we're a bit low on that. Oh, that's the hydraulic oil, sorry. Which is that the oil is in pretty good nick. So I have got some oil, but it does seem to take about, I think it's 37 litres, which seems a lot. Seems that there is the oil tank, you know. Ooh, there. This is really hard to do, that thing there. So yeah, I'm going to top it up. We're going to give it a service as well, an engine service. So we've got some stuff. We've got a hydraulic oil, and we've got some engine oil, 1540 diesel oil. We've got some liqui moly, which we did on the Vivaro, because it is quite smoky. If that doesn't work, we might, and it causes a problem, you know, if it's okay, just a bit smoky, you know, it's an old machine. But if it's quite bad, we might have to look at getting the injectors overhauled or something. But we'll have a go at the liqui moly, running it through. We won't just chuck it in the tank, we'll actually run it through on recirc, and see how we get along. I've got some nice chunky fuel filters. Got some load of washers to do some spacing with. What else have I got? What else have I got? I'm waiting for lots of bits. Got a little switch because there's no horn switch. So if we get some wiring sorted, I think it's quite important to have a horn, really. You know, if you're in a noisy area, you know, I don't know. And if you're working with someone, when it's loaded, you press the old horn. But it's a safety thing. The only other filter I've got at the moment is this little air filter. So like I say, I'm waiting on plenty of parts at the moment, but we've got a little air filter there. And we'll tot up everything at the end, I think. Yeah, so did I show the engine before? I can't remember if I did. We had to put a stay on before, but I've actually taken... Oh, I've taken the... It's got bent funny. Yes, the strut thing that goes down to there. You can't see. Hang on. I'm shaking you around. Do apologise. Down there, there's a pin at the other end of the strut goes to. The strut's absolutely green crackered. But yeah, I mean, it runs okay. One thing it doesn't do, it doesn't shut down, because this is the shutdown solenoid. So to turn it off, you've got to press that. So obviously that needs 12 volt to operate it to stop the engine, if that makes sense, which is a little bit backwards, but we'll see. It may be just a case that I put a button somewhere that it just shuts it down. There's another little hole just there, a little sort of plug thing. I could put a little button or something to shut it down, because it doesn't shut down on the key. What else can I say? We've got lots of stuff. Ignore this. This is the Dougley list. So we've got the hood strut, we've got tension of tracks, hydraulic oil and filter, That hasn't turned up yet. Engine service, we haven't got the oil filter yet. Stops all I said about. Where are we looking at? Oh, fuel level pipe. Yeah, that thing. How you're supposed to tell the fuel level through that, I have no idea. So we're going to have to pop the tank out and have a look at that. Grease up. Plug the aux outlet. I've done that. That's that little plug. Sort out a horn and injector cleaner. So yeah, that's a starter. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is get outside, give it a clean down, just a quick pressure wash. I think I'll use some road traffic cleaner. No, road film cleaner. Road traffic film cleaner. What is it called? TFR, traffic film remover. Got there eventually. And give it a bit of a spray over. It's not too bad, but when we moved it off the trailer, there was some big lumps of dirt on the trailer from the undercarriage. So I want to try and lift it up and give it a bit of a spray on the undercarriage. Like I said, the engine isn't too bad. Might give it a bit of a rinse off with some TFR. I've got the battery on charge. That radiator looks horrible. We'll see. I've got the battery off. It looks like we've got some battery tray repairs to do, and it doesn't look too bad in there oily wise. There's the hydraulic oil filter there, tucked in behind there. So I want to lift this plate off because of the wiring. Sorry, it's got to go a long way round all the time because of the boom. I do apologise, waving around, rattling on. Here's the wiring. So I think that end goes that way. I don't know, I haven't taken this off yet. If this has all still got connections in behind, it must run under this plate in the chassis somewhere and underneath and up into the engine bay. Why it's been taken off, I do not know. But we do have, I've seen some, we've got an oil pressure sensor there. And I saw a temperature sensor. Where did I see it? There it is, tucked in there. See the temperature sensor tucked in there? So we have got sensors to plug stuff into, but I cannot find a wiring diagram. So it may be just a case of we just get it running for now and then look at the wiring later. But I want to have a look underneath this plate. There's only a few bolts, so I'll rattle them bolts off quickly before we go over to pressure wash it, and yeah, just give it a rinse off, I think, don't you? I reckon, yeah, let's start the old smoky thing up, get it outside and give it a rinse. Here we go. So it is pretty mucky in here, so yeah, we need to give it a clean just to see if we got some leaks there. I'll probably put the panel back on just to move over. It seemed to come out nice and easy. I have been spraying it with easing oil, and we got oil in there as well. So I reckon next thing, start her up, ship her out. Am I as dirty as I feel? Don't know. Sorry about the sun. Anyway, here we go. It's definitely a lot cleaner. Hopefully we should be able to see where the leaks are coming from. There was loads of mud stuck up in behind there. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. It's good enough, like I say, to see where the leaks are coming from. Oh, there's a bit of mist there. Just there. But yeah, still pretty mucky in there, but again, it was what it needed. And in here, it didn't really make a lot of difference because it wasn't too bad in here. Just a bit mucky around the diesel pump. So yeah, I guess all we've got to do now, sorry, just turn you around, is just wait for it to dry off and get it back in the workshop. So see you in a minute. So it's the next day, it's all drip dried and back in the barn or workshop, and it's looking a lot better. I mean, it's still rough and ready, you know, it is what it is, but we can see what we are doing. Oh, I've put that back on. I'll whip that off in a minute. We'll see if we've got any leaks in there then. What else can I say? You know, it's all looking cleaner. I did check, we're not charging either. I put a meter on there and we were only still, with it running, and we were still only getting 12 and a bit volts, 12.3, something like that. So it's not charging. In here, oh, God. We are looking relatively clean. Clean enough. We've got a little bit of diesel leakage. Sorry, I can't turn this down. There. Around this area. It's not a lot. Everything else seems pretty dry. There's a bit, you know, I couldn't get everything, but there must be a bit of a leak on that hydraulic filter somewhere. But yeah, pretty good otherwise. We do have a little bit of what looks like leakage down there. Let's get a mat. Where's my mat? Here it is. Oh, creaky old bones. So, oh, just looking up. It looks to me like what I've washed off, because that is quite watery. So I think that's just remnants of drippage. Let's put it the right way around, that would help. Part of our wiring issues might be under here. You can see there's a few ripped up ones and repaired. So I don't know. Oh, glass sharp. Really need to get some sort of a wiring diagram for this. And obviously this disappears up somewhere. It's not clipped up or anything, so it is a bit exposed down here. You can see how that could get caught up on something. Underneath we're pretty good. Everything looks, I mean, I've missed some bits underneath, but it doesn't look too bad at all under there. That's good. Yeah, so I think next, sorry, I'm moving you around again. We're going to do a diesel purge on this because it is smoky. We are waiting on some parts as well, but I'm going to take the tank out. There's only one bolt holding it in, look. So I'll whip that out, and then hopefully my hose will turn up and we can actually see what level we've got in here. And to take that out, all I need to do is undo the air filter, I guess. I have got an air filter turned up, so we'll give that a clean out. We should put that back on to run it really, but we'll see. Yeah, and we'll change the filters. There's a pretty mucky filter down in there, and if I remember rightly, I think this type of pump has a filter in there as well. So we'll have a look at that. Yeah, I think the next thing is diesel purge. And we'll look at the wiring some other time. Yeah, I'm not even sure where this cable is supposed to end up. I don't know if that goes to the engine bay or goes into here. So I might whip this off as well and have a look. And we found a horn. When that's off, there is a horn underneath here. So it's always good to have a horn. And I'm going to take this bar off. I don't like it. It's not structural. So, and there's no seat belts. So yeah. And on another side, I'm waffling on already. I broke this. This is brand new. I got this off a flea bay because I wanted to work out the power of my struts to lift this, because you can get them all sorts of powers. And I hooked this on with a little washer to hold it, and pulled 80 kilos, and it flew apart, which you can see it's really done it in, and it pulled the ring off. And it's rated to 100 kilos, this. There, see, 100 kilos. So, and yes, it is made in China. But yeah, so yeah, and that all slammed down. Luckily, I didn't have my hands caught in there, so it did scare me a little bit. But yeah, it failed at 80 kilos. So that'll be going back. Anyway, I've waffled on too much. Let's get that tank out, which I really didn't clean very well. I suppose I didn't want to get water in the fuel, and go from there. Oh, and there's a funny thing in here. If you look in there, that's a little filter. And for some reason, it's got a Jubilee clip around it. Not sure why. And it, oh, blimey, it is pretty mucky in there. Can I show you that? Can I show you that? That's pretty nasty in there. I think I'll give that a clean out. I'll just whip the plate out so you can see it is not brilliantly clean, but if there is any leaks, we'll be able to see them. Yeah, I didn't do very well over there at all, did I? Might give that, oh, there's still a twig in there. But yeah, and there are some greasing points at the front. I didn't realise there are greasing points there, and there's no nipples on them, so that needs sorting out. Here we go. So we've got it off. Could have done with a bit more cleaning here, and we can see some more cable in here. Don't know. Well, it looks okay. Oh, might be a broken wire in there actually. We'll have a strip back. So yeah, this cable routing isn't brilliant, but yeah, we can see our pump. Not sure. There used to be a sticker on the side of that. Let's get the torch. Sorry. Yeah, I could do a bit more clean with the tank out, couldn't it? Well, I don't know. I'm guessing this is just a bit of strap to, so it's not metal on metal. And look at our filter. Can you see that? Put that underneath. Does that help? No, I don't know. It's pretty, that's pretty nasty. Oh, we're spilling everywhere now. So yeah, Yeah, come apart easy. I better get some pig mats underneath that. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is just set up the liquid moly setup. I'm going to explain that. It's quite simple. But oh yeah, I can't get over that. Can you see the debris in it? I'm trying to. I don't know. Look at it. We keep on dropping our fuel pipe. I'll sort that out in a minute. Yeah, we're set up for liquid moly. I'll clean up that. There's the bits we got. That could do with a really good clean out or clean off as well. It's heavier than I thought it'd be. But it seems quite clean inside from what I can tell. I'll take that filter out and have a fiddle. And we've got a new filter, air filter for it, but we're still waiting on parts for everything else. And it is raining. So I might not even put this outside. I might sort of turn it round, put it in the door and leave it running. And we'll look at it as and when. So yeah, give me a minute to clean up and we'll set up the liquid moly. I had to show you guys this. I just took the filter off and this is, look, that's the clean side of the filter. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, are you? Well, seeing that filter is so bad, best take this one off. The 21mm seems to fit, so these are I had one of these on the fasty and I remember it was quite hard to get off, so I might have to, oh there we go, let's put that over the pot. Ah! Well, that's got a spring behind it then. Something else just dropped out then. Oh, blimey, it's all falling apart. Oh, a bit mucky, not too bad in there. Let's find out what else fell out. That must be the piston. There's a bit of rubber there. I'm going to keep this in the fuel because I know it's not going to... Well, it's mucky, but you know what I mean. Let's have a look at this filter. Hang on. It shot itself over here. And that bit of rubber, whatever that bit of rubber was, that might have been... oh, I don't know what it is. Ah, that's right. It's a mounting foot. And here's the filter. It's quite a fine filter. That's not too bad at all, actually. So I think that even though that was horrendous, that other filter, it was doing its job. So we'll give this a clean up and shove it back together. So here's our setup. I do not like this wiring much. I will have a look at that after. But ultimately, that is the line that is from, or was from, the fuel pump. So that's going to go to our glass jar. Need glass because it might get quite warm. I don't know, I'm not sure about using plastic. I suppose you could even use a tin, but you wouldn't be able to see the level of it. So yes, so we suction through there, through a filter, through the pump to the injection pump, and obviously we got the bypass and the return line going back in the jar. We'll see what happens. I haven't tried it yet because I haven't put anything in. So we've got a nice clean filter. Let's pour some of this in. I've just zip tied this here so it can't fall over because, you know, I mean, it might jump around a bit. We'll see what happens when we start it. As long as it starts, let's chuck some of this in. Try for that. We've got not quite half, or probably a bit more than half actually. And you can see how clear it is. Let's get the torch on it, you'll see. So we're pretty clear, and we can compare that to after, because there will be some left after, because I don't really want to run it out. and the rest we can just put in the tank. So let's hang on, I've got to put a lid on this because you and I will know what happens. I don't put the lid on. Oh god, I've got stuff everywhere here. Alright, let's turn the ignition on, and which just turns the pump on, see if we've got any leaks. Ready? Oh, I'll squeeze through that back. That looks okay. I don't like that on the exhaust. I'll zip tie that one somewhere. I don't think we've got any leaks anywhere. Yeah, good. Right, next would be to start it. We're going for the fuel filter. That's good. Yeah, I'm going to do something with this because I don't like that's too close to the exhaust. But yeah, we'll be starting in a sec. Right, let's see what happens. So I have to warm the glow plugs up for a bit first, but we shall see what happens. Glow plugs are on. They're not leaking, and it's going to. Oh, I better put a bit of throttle. We'll see what happens. Will it start on liquid moly? I don't know. Can you actually see? Going to turn it around so the exhaust is pointing out. Sorry for the noise, it's noisy. It's trying to rain out here, so I'm just going to leave it like this, running for a while. See what happens. Yeah, just letting this diesel fumes clear, so we've got the door open. That took about 45 minutes to use 1 litre, I think. Yep, 1 litre, and we were revving it quite hard and going up and down, and everything seems really good. The radiator, even though it looks horrendous, that's working well because we've got, you know, warm top hose, and the bottom hose is a lot cooler, a lot less hot. Yeah, and we're not really very wet in here, so I'm pleased with that. Got a bit of a dribble there from the sump plug, and I wish all my filters had turned up because this would have been a perfect time to drop all the oil. But hey, there we go. You can see how much muck that has drawn out of the fuel system. That's quite a lot really when you think about it. It's actually made the inside of this pipe a little bit mucky. I don't know if you can see there. Yeah, it's not a lot left in there, but yeah, perfect. Another little job done. Well, we're still waiting for filters and stuff like that, but we'll get there eventually. One thing I've noticed since we've been fiddling is this, I don't know if you can see that, that's not fitted properly. There's no bolts in it down there, so we'll put some bolts in that. We're just looking at the fuel tank at the moment. I've drained that out of it, and it isn't actually that dirty in there. It doesn't look too bad. I'll turn it round, but I bet you won't be able to see. You know, it's one of them things, but it doesn't look too bad in there. But what I'm going to do is, because there's a tiny little upstand inside of the tank on the top of that, I think I'm going to take the drain out and give it a good clean up inside, and then we'll give us a chance to change our level tube. Hang on, there's that bit better. But yeah, this needs a good clean up anyway, and it's bolted in 3 places. It should be. So there's a mounting foot there, and we had 1 bolt in the top. So that one is, I don't know, it looks like it's threaded. I might put a stud on that, and then it'd be easier to fit. We'll see, we'll see. But yeah, so I'm just going to whip that off and give it a good clean up, give it a rinse out, I should think, and we should be good on that one. Fuel tank. Well, what we did in the end is I did give it a good flush out. I put some nuts and bolts in the bottom and shook it around with some just cleaning fluid in it, and I've put a new hose on which you can actually see through, so that's good. That was the old one. There's not a lot of seeing through that really, but yeah, and it wasn't too bad. It's a bit scaly in the bottom. Can you see? I don't know if you'll ever be able to see that, but it was more of a gel in the bottom than scale. But yeah, it's all clean, so that is more or less ready to go back in. I had some fluid dripping out. I couldn't work out what it was from, and it didn't smell like coolant or oil, and I found it. I don't know if you can see it. If you look at the battery, can't get my hand down there. If I go just behind that red wire there, there's battery acid leaking out of it. So I don't know if it's faulty or if been overfilled. But yeah, let's get that one out before it rots everything else out. I've got a spare. It's the posts are in a similar place, so it's a bit smaller. But it doesn't need a big battery. It's only a 3-cylinder little diesel, isn't it? So I'm just going to whack that one in and put that one somewhere safe where it can dribble out. It has been on charge, but it shouldn't dribble out like that. I'm sorry this is so jumpy aroundy, but anyway, the tank's ready to go. I've got some rubber on there. I've actually got some bolts on. I didn't like the idea of having just one torque, so we've got normal bolts. They're M10s, and I've got an old bolt that I cut off and threaded in the bottom there. A bit of rubber there, and we've got some lock washers. So in here, we're more or less, I'm just sort of searching for my torch, more or less ready to put it back in. All I did was give it a bit of a spray, a bit of a wipe down, so you can see the numbers and stuff. Like you see, it's not perfect. It's a lot better. But that, I mean, we only had 1 bolt in here, so we can have all these in. That's going to make it a lot better. And I suppose we need to give this a clean out. I have got a filter. I haven't got anything else. So yeah, actually, before I put that in, I should strip this back and have a look at this wiring, shouldn't I? Save taking that out again. Yeah, I'll have a quick look at that. Sorry, that. Just strip this back and we've got 2 wires totally gone. So a red and a green yellow stripe, and there's an orange in there which is gone. It's not broken, but the insulation's gone. I'm wondering if this got onto the exhaust or something. It's definitely, oh, it's rubbed. But the problem with this is just down here there's some more cables that are broken, the ones I showed you from the bottom. Can you see them down there? And I don't want to be, if they're the same cables as up here, these that are broken, I don't want to be sort of joining and, you know, having loads of joins in it. And I'm wondering if they are, because they don't, well, that one does touch, but that one doesn't. So what I think I'll do, as it does run at the moment, is I'll put this, all the tank and air filter and everything back in. And once I manage to find a wiring diagram, we'll have a look at this wiring properly. And we'll do a proper chase. We might have to delume some of it. I don't know, but let's get this back in, because with this back in, it's a runner. It won't charge, but it is a runner. So we'll get that back in. I'm just going to bolt it all back in. See you in a sec. The last thing we're going to get done today is just changing the air filter element. I've got a replacement. Ain't too bad, really. A bit mucky. Yeah, a bit mucky. Oh, well. Yeah, quite mucky. So we've got a replacement. We've got the hours on there, written the hours and the date, so we know in the future when we did it. And there's dust in there. I'm going to vacuum that out. Wait a sec. That's better. Let's chuck this new one in. All nice and shiny. It looks the same, so that's good. And gently whiz that up. Perfect. And then this has got a up arrow. What it does, I do not know, but it says up, so it's going up. Well, it says top, actually. Like that. Except you can't get that bottom clip on. Sorted. Right, well, that is it for today. I've run out of spare parts. I've got the oil, but I haven't got oil filters, either the hydraulic or the engine oil. We got some stuff done. We give it a clean. We've had a good look round and found out that our battery is, see, that's still leaking out, that is. There's something wrong with that battery. So we've got another battery in there. The terminals aren't very good on it, but they'll have to do for now. We've run it up. We've had it running for, how long did it take? I can't remember if it was half an hour or 45 minutes for the liquid moly. And, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not happy with the way the hoses run here. I'd rather have, let's turn this down, this light, hang on. I'd rather have the fuel filter in this clip here, and then a fuel line running around nice and not so sharp bend as that. But, you know, I mean, at the moment it'll do. I haven't got any hose. The hose I have got is too small, so I'll get some more. We've looked at, well, we found that we've got some wiring issues. I actually took the cover off of that. It looks like some sort of a voltage regulator. But I reckon that it's the reason the alternator isn't charging, excuse me, is a wiring fault. Oh, there's one missing there as well. Look. So we've got some wiring to do on this, but I really need a wiring diagram. But never mind. Anyway, and then I've got a set of replacement pins and bushes coming for here. So that'll be good. Right, I've waffled on enough. Do you like my digger though? Asked me a few years ago if I'd have a mini digger. I was like, why? Why would I want a mini digger? Oh, well, because I really want one. I mean, I know I'm doing this in a slightly different style than I normally would. Could I get dirt on my arms? But I need this for a specific job. So even if it is not A1, but running okay, I'll go with it for now, and then we'll sort it out after. It's like if the electrics are particularly bad, I don't mind charging the battery up just so we keep going. But anyway, yes, here it is. Leave your comments below. What do you reckon? It's old bone, isn't it? As Diesel Creek would say, ridden hard and put away wet. So yes, thank you all so much for watching. If you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up, helps us out, don't cost you a bit. And well, I hope to see you next time. Might be on this, hanging off I got parts, might be on something else. Yeah, see you next time. Cheers then. I forgot, we need to see if it's smoky now, don't we? Let's, hang on, just have to give it some glow plug and we shall see what we like. Contact! Not too bad. Blimey, I need a shower after that. But not bad as I thought it was gonna be. I've got to show you guys this filter again. Look at that. Pretty bad. Yes, I think we'll be changing a few filters. I've got a few to change to do the changes with. So yes, back to it. Helps if you take the lens cap off.